Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla. Thanks for stopping by for a visit today. I'm so happy to be here with you today, and I'm happy that you're able to be here so we can have a visit today. I hope you're all having a great day and getting a lot of things accomplished. Today I am drinking peach tea. That is a peach tea that came from this Cozy Up. It's Cozy Up fruit tea. It's a variety pack. So there's lots of different teas in here. It says it contains 36 individual pods. I don't know how many different flavors. It's just a variety. But it is the pods, like the little K-cups. I did notice there's a lot of sweet lemon black tea. I'm not a fan of lemon, but Big Daddy always gets lemon in his tea when we go out to restaurants and all, so he will love the lemon tea, and I will drink the rest. I don't see a list of like the different flavors that's in here, but I will tell you this. As that is making, like I put it over here in my Keurig machine and I'm getting my stuff ready, the aroma from these teas is so delish. I mean, it is. It smells really, really good. So that's what I'm sipping on today as we chat. Try to keep my mouth wet a little bit. Anyway, so I will mention that the only place that I'm on social media is Instagram. I'm not on Facebook, and here is where I can be found on Instagram, llama.mama.kayla. So anyway, guys, I love the way that fuchsia color looked next to that brown. You just never know. Like, that's not two colors I would put together if I was picking colors for a blanket or something. I just wouldn't pick, oh, this brown and that fuchsia. But that did pair up really nice together. So I did double crochets. And then on the next row up above that, not double crochets. Well, excuse me, it is double crochets, but it's granny clusters. I did the granny clusters in between those V stitches and just went that all the way around. And then when I got to the end of that row, I just turned and I went ahead and did another row of granny clusters in between my granny clusters. And I did not chain between the granny clusters. I just moved to the next section. I lost my words there for a second. So here's how it's coming out so far. It's getting pretty long. It really is. I think tonight I will get Big Daddy. I'll put it across my shoulders and stand up straight, and let Big Daddy tell me where it is on my legs at the bottom. I did do that the other day. I was trying to see, but I think I need to stand up straight and see, let him see like exactly where it is, so I'll know how much more I probably need to do. But anyway, so I've been working on this. Today is day 29. I believe today will be day 29 of working on this. My son Dakota had fixed me up some little baggies of yarn, so I don't know what color yarn I'm adding every day. It's a complete surprise, and I love that. I love that, getting a new yarn and, not knowing what color it's going to be. What I am making, in case you're new here and don't know, I'm making one of these right here. This is like a Rana wrap, and so the part that I'm making now goes up the back, and when I get it to the right length that I want, then I will split it, and it will be two panels coming down the front. So That's what I'm making. And I think it's going to get to the point where I can split pretty soon and be working on the front panels. But I'm just doing different stitches. There's no pattern. There's no repeat rows that I'm doing. I'm just whatever I feel like doing at the moment. It's a very stress-free project. I did not even count my chain when I started the project. I just laid this one out on the table and I chained a chain a little bit longer than the width of this because I'm probably going to sew up the edges on this or crochet the edges together. And so I just wanted to it to be a little bit bigger than this one. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. And I've been having so much fun just getting a new yarn and then just whatever stitch I feel like doing. And I'm trying to use double crochets. I mean, I haven't used others. I'm just doing double crochets so that it grows faster. You know, if I was using like single crochets, it wouldn't grow that fast. So it is double crochets. And I'm using a 7mm hook. And so it is big and squishy and yeah. Anyway, so let's see what color yarn we are adding to this baby today. Here's my baggie. Oh, I thought it was a different color when it was in there. I thought it was a dark, dark green. And I pulled it out and it's not dark, dark. I thought it was dark. And I was looking at that. I was like, oh no, it's another dark. It's a green, but it's kind of a, I don't even know what color you call that. I don't even know what color you call that. Green. These little skeins of yarn do not have colors on them. And this is just an Instacart acrylic yarn that came from Amazon. Yeah, that's where my son ordered them from. And it was a package of about like 60 of them. Uh-oh, looks like I'm tying a knot in it. So anyway, I don't know anything about the yarn. A few people said they have used the yarn before and it washes up great. So I'll take your word for it. I just pulled and made a little knot in it, but it'll be okay. So I'm going to tie this green onto this fuchsia. Just tie these two together. And then I'm going to continue on with this row of doing the granny clusters. 1 and 2. I do like to at least double knot, if not triple knot. And I need my little crochet strap thing on so that I can crochet. Uh-oh. Give me 1 second. Usually it don't take me this long to put it on, but sometimes it does. Alright. And here's my 7mm crochet hook that I'm using. And I do have some questions I'm going to answer today while I'm crocheting. And if you have questions that you would like for me to answer in a future video, you can leave those questions in the comment box below. And I will jot the questions down and bring them in here and try to answer them. Now, so I'm just doing the granny stitch cluster in between the granny stitch clusters from the previous row. Okay, so as I wrote these questions down, I didn't have much space on this paper, and it was just a piece of scratch paper I was writing some down on. And some of the questions go back to the same topics. So I might talk about a topic and then move to another topic and then end up back on the, previous topic 2 or 3 topics ago. So yeah, it's all over the place, but hey, it's what it is. I could have took the time to go back and reorganize the questions, but that would have took up crochet time. And I'm not about wasting my crochet time. So, yeah. So anyway, I thought I would answer some of these questions with you guys today, if you don't mind. And let's see. Someone asked about phantom pain. And she actually asked, does the cold weather bring on phantom pain? Well, I get phantom pain all the time. In the summer, I get phantom pain at any time. Cold weather doesn't bring it on for me. It just happens all the time. Now, I know that the person who asked me that, she has lost her legs, and she said that the cold weather does give her phantom pain in her legs, and I'm so sorry about that. I hate that. But for me, like, I'll have a finger like just hurting for a little bit that's not there. It'll feel like I smashed it or something, or jammed it, and then the pain will eventually it'll go away. But it is a pretty annoying. But I tell you what's the most annoying is sometimes I feel like I have something under a fingernail on a finger that's not even there. Isn't that just the craziest? And so what I do, like say this finger here, I'll feel like there's something under my fingernail, and it'll just be driving me crazy. And I'll clean these fingernails and wash my hands, and I'll just do things like that, trying to like just get rid of that feeling, even though it's not really a real feeling. It's kind of weird and odd that happens like that, but yeah, I get phantom pain year round. The cold weather doesn't bring it on. It just happens at any given time. Someone asked about my esophagus and feeding tube and how long. Okay, so they're asking why I have a feeding tube, I believe. I don't know. I didn't jot the whole question down. I just jotted down keywords. So my esophagus doesn't work. Scleroderma hardened my esophagus, and so your esophagus contracts when you eat food and pushes that food on down your esophagus. My esophagus does not do that. My esophagus is just hard, and it's narrowed and some webbing. And so when I eat food, it is very painful. Like it hurts way down here really bad. And then the food just stops and it won't go down. And I end up throwing up because it just will not go down. And if I continue to eat, it just kind of fills up my esophagus. And I'm and run into the bathroom to throw up. Also, when food is stuck in my esophagus, nothing else goes down. That includes saliva, doesn't go down. And so that fills up and fills up. And I know that's gross and way too much information, but it's life for me. So I do have a feeding tube in my stomach. I'm probably due to do another video on that soonish. How long have I had swallowing issues? For a long time coming. For many years, I had swallowing issues, and I would go and get my esophagus stretched, and that would help for a short while, and then it would be back the issues again. And then it come to the point where they couldn't stretch it anymore. Like that wasn't going to help because the esophagus did not even work. And I had to have special tests run to do that. They put an ultrasound thing down my esophagus, and I had to drink a nasty liquid so they could watch my esophagus and see what it was doing. And it was not even. Sorry about that. My son Elijah called, and with his work schedule, I didn't want to miss the call, so I went ahead and took it. And so, anyway, I'm back. And I don't exactly remember where I was, but I know I was talking about esophagus and feeding tube and how long I've had that issue. So, anyway, but I've had a feeding tube now for 2 years. I think, yeah, it's been 2 years. So, anyway, going on to the next question. I hope I answered that one. The next question is Phoebe housebroken? She is. She does come to me to tell me when she needs to come out, to go outside. She comes and she paws at me to let me know she needs to go out, and so I'll let her outside. But also, I lay down and take naps a lot during the day. I have to just rest at different times and go lay down. And so I do put a puppy potty pad in the bathroom floor for her. And so she does use that when I'm not in there and she needs to go out. So, yeah, that's just life when you know, have to lay down and spend some time in the bed. Okay, the next question is, oh, somebody wanted to know that narwhal that I made and showed in yesterday's video, that Whip Wednesday video. They wanted to know, would that project be in the fair? I have no idea. Between now and the time the fair comes, I'll have so many projects to choose from that I don't know what will end up in the fair and what won't. I just have to wait and see. Oh, somebody asked, do I crochet for Phoebe? Sweaters for Phoebe. I have, and she does have quite a few crocheted sweaters. I don't leave them on her if I'm not in the room with her because I don't want her to get her toenails hung up and end up pulling a toenail off or anything like that. So she only wears those if I'm in the room with her. But yes, she has quite a few crocheted sweaters. Let's see. Somebody asked, will I be making a mandala blanket this year? Oh, you better believe it. I still have that purple one that I need to finish, and so I will be getting to work on that eventually and complete that. So, yeah. And I have other blankets and stuff I want to do too, so not just the mandalas, but yeah, I will be making that mandala this year. Somebody asked, does my brother live in the same town as me? No, he don't live that far, but he lives in another town from me, so he's across the river. And let's see. Oh, next, someone asked about Elijah's feeding tube. Did he have the same issues that I have? No. Elijah was born with eosinophilic gastroenteritis, and so he was sick from the get-go, very, very sick. So what that means is he had an overload of eosinophils, and his was from his esophagus all the way through his whole body to his rectum, duodenum, and all that. So he had an overload of eosinophils, which was attacking his insides because they saw everything as, foreign object. I don't know. It's hard, so hard to explain eosinophils and all that. So he had to be on a special, very high dollar um, formula that his doctor called liquid gold because it was liquid gold. But yeah, he had a feeding tube. When he was 16, he decided to take his feeding tube out, and he did. And eventually, he did have to have surgery to um, close that hole up and remove his stomach from his abdomen wall. So it was a very major surgery that took a very long recovery. Now, he does still have issues. A lot of times he eats and then he ends up throwing it up because it just doesn't agree with him. Sometimes he knows not to eat some foods that definitely is going to make him sick. But that was his choice to do that, and we let him do it when he was 16 because we figured he was turning 18. He could move out and be on his own and do it then. And we wanted him to, if he was going to do it, we did want him to do it under our supervision so we could keep an eye on him and guide him and know what was going on. And yes, he had the surgery and he was going through recovery just fine. And then one day we had went to Shreveport for my doctor's appointment, and he was at home. I think Dakota was here. Dakota came in from work shortly after, but Elijah was very sick and his stomach was bleeding, and we just come in from Shreveport, loaded him up, took him to the hospital, and it was pretty bad. But anyway, I don't want to think about that. So his issue is not the same as mine. Oh yeah, somebody asked about this bumblebee crochet project right here. That bumblebee there. They wanted to know where to get the pattern for that. That is in the book Crochet Cute Critters by Sarah Zimmerman. She's also the Repeat Crafter Me gal. She has a very cute crochet book. I think it's 26 animals in it. It's less than $10 on Amazon. Crochet Cute Critters is the name of the book. Now, that particular project I did with a bulky yarn. It's the pattern from the book. I just used a bulky yarn and a bigger hook. So don't be afraid to do that with your crochet books. Use a different size yarn, different size hooks. I couldn't think of the word. Anyway, okay, somebody asked, have I ever done a temperature blanket? No, I would never complete a temperature blanket. People who do those and complete them, my hat's off to you. I would never complete it. I know that. Something I have to crochet on every day for a whole year. No, it would take me several years to do that blanket. With my health issues that I have, I never know how I'm going to feel from one day to the next. And you can tell this has been a little bit of struggle for me, just doing these videos showing, the daily adding on the yarn and stuff, the daily opening the bags and all. Like I'm on day 28. I started this December the 1st. So that lets you know right there that I had to miss plenty of days. So yeah, I'm not doing a temperature blanket. I think they turn out beautiful. And if you've done one and completed it, my hat's off to you. That's amazing. Okay, somebody said, why did I homeschool my kids? Well, I was called to homeschool them. I felt a calling to do that. Not everyone has a calling to homeschool. Not homeschooling is not for everyone. And that's okay because we have great teachers In our schools, I'm not saying every teacher is, but we do have some great teachers, and you know, I can't get my words out. So everyone's not called to homeschool, and that's okay. Um, I felt a calling to homeschool my kids, and so with our lifestyle and Jody's job at the time, he worked a lot of evenings, and that meant he would not see Dakota. That's the only kid we had at the time that we started homeschooling. That means he would go weeks without seeing him at all because he would be at work when Dakota would get home from school, and then Dakota would be asleep when he got home from work. And so we didn't want that. Just and we just felt a calling to homeschool. So that's what we did. And it fit our lifestyle very well. We stuck with it for 23 years, so that lets you know. Okay, Phoebe, somebody asked, is Phoebe a rescue? No, she is not, although I do feel like I did rescue her, but she's not a rescue puppy. Usually all our dogs are rescues. The two that Elijah has right now are rescues, and um, the one he had previously that passed away not too awful long ago was a rescue. And my Chihuahua before Phoebe was a rescue. She came from the pound. Her name was Sophia. And after she passed away, suddenly and very unexpectedly, it was just before Mother's Day. And I really had a hard time when I lost Sophia. And so my boys just wanted to get me another Chihuahua, and they looked everywhere and was not finding another Chihuahua, and so we found one over in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, actually. And so my friend Angela and I actually went over and picked her up over there. So she's not a rescue, although I kind of felt like she might be a rescue. That's weird to say that. You had to be there. You had to be there to know. Um, oh, somebody, I've been really, really nauseated a lot lately, and somebody suggested that I go get tested for COVID. I don't have COVID. I don't. I have no concern for that whatsoever. I'm taking a chemo drug, and that causes nausea. When people take chemo, it makes them sick. And so I'll go ahead and just explain this. This medication that I'm on, this chemo drug, I take it once a week, and I'm taking 4 pills. And so somebody said, take your medicine at night and you won't be nauseous the next day. No, I take it once a week. So I'm taking it on Mondays. And so I'm nauseated most of the week. By Thursday and Friday, I start feeling better. Saturday and Sunday, I'll probably feel okay. Monday, I'll take it again, and I'll be sick like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that's the way it works. And I do take Zofran I do take Zofran sometimes with it, not during the day because it does knock me out and leaves me very groggy feeling. So if I'm going to do videos or go to town or do anything like that, I don't take the Zofran because I need to stay awake. So I don't take Zofran all the time with it if I need to do other things. I do take folic acid with the methotrexate. I don't take vitamin D because my vitamin D level is already up there. It's not low at all. It's in the good range, like in the normal high range. So I can't, I don't need to take more vitamin D because when you have, just like you have a deficiency having too much of something can equally be bad for you. So I don't take vitamin D because I already have enough vitamin D going on in my body. But I do take folic acid. And anyway, the nausea is just something I have to deal with. You know, I've tried all the different things that people are suggesting: ginger ale, ginger tea, all all the different things, peppermint tea. Um, None of that helps. I sip on Sprite; it don't even help. But I try it anyway. I try all the things anyway. Oh, in hopes that something helps. But I drink Pepto Bismol. I do everything. Um, Somebody asked, do I crochet at the doctor's office? Yes, always. Now, I didn't, during the month of October and November while my hand was healing from surgery, but before that and now after that, yes, I always crochet at doctor's offices or anytime I'm somewhere waiting, I always crochet in. I always have a crochet project in my bag, so I always have something to work on. Oh yeah, somebody asked me what is curriculum, because in the last video I had mentioned after 23 years of homeschooling my kids, that following year I was kind of lost and didn't really know what to do, because it should have been the time of the year that I was ordering curriculum. And so they asked me, what is curriculum? Curriculum is the books you would use for school, like 9th grade books, 10th grade books, 11th grade books, such as that. Each year I would spend a good amount of time poring over curriculums, studying different curriculums to decide what would fit my student the best. There's If you've never been in the homeschool world, you don't know. There is a ton of curriculums out there. There are so many methods for homeschooling, curriculums, different textbooks and workbooks and things like that. So, um, thankfully, there is a lot out there, and that, I was able to tailor my kids' homeschooling to, fit their needs and their personalities, and how they learned the best. That is the great thing about homeschooling. So, curriculum is school books. Oh, yeah, somebody did ask about, they suggested trying the alcohol pad. Like, when you get, when you're going to get a shot, they take a little alcohol pad and rub your skin and then give you the shot. Or diabetics use those and stuff. When I had my last iron infusion, I was so nauseated. I was just miserable, nauseated that day. And it was actually on a Tuesday, and so my medication was strong. And I was sitting there getting my iron infusion. Someone in the next room was throwing up, because I was in the oncology department, so it's all these patients getting their chemo, and somebody got sick and was throwing up, and I'm already nauseated, and I was just like, and so my nurse did give me an alcohol swab thing to smell. I don't know that it really helped. I think her closing the door and turning on music helped the most. But I did sit there and I sniffed that, trying to get that smell, that feeling to pass. But anyway, somebody asked, what kind of stuffing do I use for my amigurumis? I just use that polyfill from like Walmart, just the regular old polyfill. It comes in bags and boxes. That's what I use. Some people use like pillows and old stuffed animals and things like that. I've never done any of that. I just use polyfill from Walmart. Somebody asked, so who of me and Big Daddy who gets Elijah's room. I get it if he ever cleans it out. I get it. Well, actually, when he called me a minute ago, he said that they're doing end of the year inventory stuff, and he did not get days off this week. He had to work both of his days off, doing things in prep for, I think, some district managers or regional managers or something are coming on the 10th, and somebody else is coming on the 28th. And so he's having to do a lot of things in prep for the 10th. And so, yeah, that's what he said. It's keeping him so busy that he hasn't come and got his stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. We're going to end up having to put a deadline on him. I know. Somebody asked if I like cats. I do. I'm not like a cat person. Okay, I'll say this. I've never thought of myself as a cat person. I do like cats. I have nothing against cats. My son Dakota has had many cats over the years. I consider myself a dog person. I'm just drawn to dogs more than cats, but I do like cats. And so I'm gonna share a secret with y'all. So that's a couple things I've picked up. Have a couple more items that I need to get before I'm ready, but something might be happening soonish. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Somebody asked, and the same person, she did ask this also. She asked, when did I come to know Jesus? I was born and raised in church my whole life, and so Jesus has always been a part of my life, and I'm thankful for that. Actually, Big Daddy and I's very first date was to church. When he finally asked me out, he asked me to go to church with him. And so that's what we did. We went to church, and then we went to Pizza Inn and sat there for a good while and talked. And then we went back to the church parking lot where my car was, and we sat in the parking lot and talked, and neither one of us really wanted to leave. But and then as we were dating, we went to his church one Sunday, and we would go to my church one Sunday. So we switched up back and forth, and then we ended up getting married in his church and tried to make that our home church, but it just didn't work outright. And he worked a lot of shift work, and so that meant I was going way across town, across the river, to this church by myself. And so one week, we had no plan for this, but one week when he was on evenings, I ended up going to the little Baptist church where his aunt went, that's not very far from our house at all, just down the road. And I started going to church there, and that's where and then Big Daddy would go too when he wasn't working. And that's where we ended up raising Dakota. Big Daddy was raised Pentecost, and I was raised Assembly of God. And then we raised Dakota and Elijah. I say Dakota because he was the first one when we started going there. But Dakota and Elijah were raised Baptist. So, yeah, that's our story. Oh, and then she also asked, when did Dakota move out? Dakota's been gone for several years now. I don't know exactly when that was, but he's been gone for several years. Elijah's only been moved out since just a few months. I don't know. It hadn't been that long, but a few months ago. You know, it comes that time where they grow up and they need to move out and do their own thing. So I miss them, but I'm glad to see that they are productive citizens, living life and having fun, enjoying their life, you know. Although that's what Elijah called to tell me about. He called to tell me some things that he was upset about, and he needs to make a change. So we talked about that for a little bit. I'm thankful that he does call me for advice. He's like, "What do you think I should do?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. You have to make that choice on your own, but this is some things you need to think about." And so I told him, things that came to mind right off the bat real quick. And then he told me some things he was thinking about, and I told him my thoughts. And, you know, and then somebody came and he had to go, but he told me he was going to call me back in a little while when things slowed down again. So I'm thankful that he did call to, ask my advice. Not that I really had any. I just could tell him, things I would think about. But anyway, guys, I guess this video is getting kind of long, and so I'm going to let you all get going. I'll show you what I've done with this green. I finished off that row. I turned, and I started just doing the next row granny stitch also. This is going to be at the very top up here in the back, so that's going to be covered with hair, so it don't really matter what stitch it is. It's not going to be seen. But yeah, guys, so if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will get to them in a future video. But I'm going to let you all get going so I can get going and get a few things done also. But I will see you all again very soon. Bye, friends. Love you guys.